Welcome back everyone to this best of 5 series between Scarlett and Alive from the WCS Season 2 round of 8. In the top left hand corner we have Alive, the bottom right hand corner we have Scarlett. And the map is of course Akilon Waste. We've cast a few games on Akilon Waste in the last couple of days. It's an excellent map. Been in the map pool for quite a while now, so players are very used to playing on it. Nice and easy to secure second base. Third base can be taken either here and secured by killing the rocks or down here. We have of course seen Zerg players really tend to favour taking it on the low ground there, as opposed to having to kill off these rocks with Zerglings early in the game. They prefer to be able to macro up hard and try and take it into the late game. We've had a couple of quite long macro games between these two players, with Scarlett managing to perform very well in those despite very heavy aggression from Alive. Consistent drops, just excellent play, but Scarlett has just shown what it takes to be one of the best foreign Zerg players in the world. So without spoiling the earlier games too much, head back and check those out if you haven't yet, because we'll likely mention some of the things that happened in those games during the remainder of this cast. Alright, so we know that Scarlett is up 2-0, so that has to be playing heavily in her favour. Playing a bit of mind games with Alive. Alive's tried to go toe to toe with her at the macro twice in a row and has managed to be unsuccessful in that. We see him change his plan this time. Instead of, because we have a bit of a shorter rush distance on this map, he's in fact dropping the CC on the high ground, finishing the wall off with the barracks. The Scarlett doing exactly the same opening, dropping a hatch first on the low ground, spawning pool, fairly standard opening. Overlord's moving out on interesting trajectories. If you're wondering why this distance, often you see Terran players try and hide different sorts of proxies in here. Just scouting out and just being extra careful. She knows that she's won 2 solid macro games in a row. Very likely that a player might react to that with some sort of proxy or different variant of sort of cheesy play. So very common to see proxy reapers and other things on this map. It's quite easy to jump up these ramps and slip in and out of the bases. Quite a large distance to try and defend. So we'll see what Alive has in store for us this game. Second CC finishing up now, dropping his orbital commands, and we see his first Marines on the way. Rallied right out. Where has he got that rallied to? Rallied out here. I wonder if he's going to try and sneak a bunker up somewhere. No, the Marines are trying to kill the Overlord now. Obviously the Zerglings chasing off this SCV has obviously discouraged him from whatever he had planned. See, Scarlett's done the same thing in each of her rounds. Popped out 2 early Zerglings to try and prevent Alive from doing things like drop the engineering bay that he did in the first game that might slow down her macro. The Zerglings running away from the miniguns of these Marines. And the wall off begins. We look in the production tab. See more drones on the way. As usual, Scarlett's got 2 queens injecting, 2 queens spreading creep. Now we don't preview these games before we cast them, so I am as surprised as you are when things change and go awry. I think it's a bit dull to watch something and then cast it. So unfortunately, if I guess wrong in the cast, you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm watching it for the first time like you are. Of course, some of these games I did see back when Season 2 was being played a few months ago, but I didn't get to watch the group stages. As it probably worked out, I am Australian, and a lot of these games took place quite late in the night for me. Often I'll stay up to watch them depending on which stage they're at and what my work schedule's like. I did do remember staying up to watch WCS Europe. I believe it was maybe season 1 where TLO played Lucifron for the 5th place spot and the ticket to the season finals. I remember that game being particularly fantastic and well, that series being quite fantastic, and staying up till about 3:30 in the morning just to see how it played out. But it's fantastic to have such great access to these games and be able to watch them and see them being played. Spire going up again from Scarlett, just consistently sticking to her tactics, but I guess if it still works, why change it? Hellions moving out into the middle of the map, get a bit of map vision, checking what's going on. Scarlett using her Zerglings to scout the likely third bases, can see that they're not down yet. And in fact the macro CC is sitting up in the main base. Scarlett continuing to push her creep straight out into the middle of the map. Spire almost finished up now. You can see an early Viking on the way for Alive. It's likely to try and use for scouting, as he's got very little idea what's going on Scarlett's side of the field. Is in fact Mutalisk, 9 of them on the way right now. And if Alive isn't careful, these Mutalisks could come in and decisively end this game very quickly. You can see he's cautiously throwing up a few missile turrets, aware and used to Scarlett's predisposition to muters, so getting those in up and protected in time. If he takes some early damage to these mineral lines, he could be left in a very difficult position. We can see Alive opting to go for this safer third base. Now we can see the muted. Luckily that Widow Mine got taken out, otherwise that muter cloud would have been substantially weakened. See one of them down already. You can see Alive's doing a great job of holding these off, just pushing the muters back everywhere they go. There's some Marines just stopping these guys from doing any damage whatsoever. More missile turrets, just Alive's been relentless with stopping this aggression. No prisoners. He's played a bit riskier in the previous games, not wanting to spend the minerals on the missile turrets, instead opting for his unit's mobility to keep him safe, but just not willing to take any chances when he's down 0-2 and his back's against the wall. Missile turrets everywhere. Just a few Widow Mines as well for good measure. You can see Alive's finally comfortable enough to finish off the rocks and push out to take this third base. Muters are going to see this moving out and drop back to defend, because as you can see, if we look at the units tab, there isn't actually a whole lot in play for Scarlett at the moment. 16 Zerglings and 10 Mutalisks is not a force you want to be trying to hold this back with. Scarlett manages to pick off one of the Widow Mine, but takes massive damage to Mutalisk Cloud. Only 9 Muters and 17 Zerglings in play. Scarlett could be in substantial trouble if she ends up engaging this force head to head. A few Banelings on the way now. We look at the units lost tab. Not a whole lot's taken place. See Scarlett trying to pick off those Widow Mines, prevent her Zerglings and Banelings from getting killed by those big Widow Mine explosions. 1 or 2 Widow Mines could effectively end this nice big pack of Zergling Banelings, so Scarlett will be trying to pick those off diligently, try and stay in the game. We have a Zergling duking a Marine out for the Watchtower. Zergling isn't the top of the heart of the swarm food tree. He goes down horribly to him with a minigun to the face. And Scarlett picking up a few nice worker kills there. If there's one thing I've got to say about Alive's composition this round, it's very Marine heavy, and I worry for what that means when he engages on creep with the Zergling Baneling force. if he's not careful, 1 or 2 good baneling detonations could really end his day. 1 or 2 marauders is just not enough, unfortunately. Oh, that medevac so close, 7 marines in it. Alive's doing well to keep these drops up. There's nothing slowing down his drops. Every chance he gets, every base he can get. Marines and medevacs just all day long. Trying to clean out this creep. Obviously Alive knows that he's in that same predicament. On the creep you can see how quickly his marines are getting surrounded. He just cannot afford to engage here in the middle of the map. And unfortunately for him, more and more of the map's being covered by creep every minute. We got the creep here 2/3 of the way along the base, spread out across the high grounds, almost covering both these bases here. You can see Alive dropping some marines here, probably planning to try to clean this out as best he can. See these players, Scarlett almost maxed out on 200 supply, Alive hovering at about 160. That gives him the flexibility he needs to be able to keep dropping, try and divide and conquer as best he can. Or just in time, how that Widow Mine didn't detonate, I do not know. That was so close. So close to detonating there. See Scarlett, she's got the Zergling Baneling composition that she wants. Mutalisk here picking off the medevacs. Will the split be enough? I don't think so. The medevacs are going down. The Marines and Marauders being cleaned up by the Banelings, and that's what I meant by not enough Marauders in the composition. 3 or 4 Marauders is not enough to stop that amount of Zergling Baneling. You can see that Scarlett doesn't even blink. Another 50, 60 Zerglings in production, streaming out into the middle of the map, trying to drop here, but this will likely be cleaned up by those Speedling reinforcements. If we check out the upgrades tab, we see that the Lings are in fact 2-2. Flyer Carapace on the way, a big morph in of Banelings. There's just going to be a massive oh, that was a decent detonation there. We see Alive struggling to get above 150 supply with this creep right in the middle of the map. Sacrificing these to pick it off, but we'll see that Scarlett will bring her Queen straight up and replace those as she has been in the past. See this Terran force continuing to get picked off, the slow Marauders being picked off by the Zerglings, the Banelings managing to roll in time to do substantial damage to this bio, and we have it down to 120 supply. Zerg reinforcements streaming in. Scarlett obviously feels good, pressing up the ramp with the Ultras, even with the bunkers and Marines there, just pushing straight into the heart of Alive's base. Takes out the wall, reinforcements can stream straight in. You can obviously feel it and is going for the win. Game 3 to take this best of 5 series. Scarlett probably engage here. Medevacs all on low health as well. Sending her Zerglings in to clean out the missile turret so she can cut off this income once and for all. Baneling here, take out the Marines. Yeah, the Widow Mine actually doing the job for the Banelings. Friendly fire and Alive. GG's out of the game. Game 3 going to Scarlett. She advances through to the next round. Just excellent aggression from there, much earlier timing than she did in the previous games. Able to push through at the 20-minute mark. We can see that Alive probably a little bit more timid from the 2 previous games, unable to put on the same level of aggression, and Scarlett just able to wear him down with the constant Zergling Baneling muter, able to push up that ramp and into his production. We can see him almost mined out in his main, almost mined out in his natural. His third base unable to get his mining up in time to deal with that aggression. Scarlett herself being on 5 bases, just able to power that relentless stream of reinforcements, trade 1 army and then drop another 60 or 70 Zerglings and Banelings. Excellent play from Scarlett. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and give the video the old thumbs up, and we'll see you guys later on today for some more WCS Season 2. Thanks guys, have a great day.